In today's video, I'm going to be discussing the top 5 claim conditions that I saw veterans claim as a prior rating specialist to get them to 100%. So make sure you stick around. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD89 at VA Claims Consulting, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. Today's video, I am going to be discussing the top 5 conditions that I saw as a former VA rater that got veterans to 100%. But before I get into today's video, make sure you go out to my website, www.kmd89.com, and pick up my new book, VA Claim Success. It is definitely a game changer. So today's video, what 5 conditions that I see or that I saw veterans claim as a former VA rating specialist to get them to 100%? Let's go ahead and jump into it. Number 5. Here at number 5, you can see I have secondary conditions. A lot of veterans, they sleep on secondary conditions. It's one of the 5 ways of service connection, but it is another avenue to get you to 100% if you feel you deserve 100%. Now, number 1, sleep apnea secondary to mental conditions. A lot of third-party VA C&P examiners will say no. One is a respiratory, one is a mental, no relation. I've talked to a couple private providers that says, yes, Dwayne, a mental condition can cause sleep apnea, and here are some medical studies that have been done to prove sleep apnea can be caused by mental conditions. Now, I'm no medical professional. When I have questions like this, I always reach out to medical professionals and ask those questions, along with going to Google and finding some of those medical stories. Number 2 on the secondary, bilateral lower extremities secondary to lumbar strain for the sciatic and femoral nerve. Now, lumbar strain, peripheral neuropathy and radiculopathy of the sciatic and femoral nerve is one of those common complications. So veterans will be service connected for lumbar strain, and they'll have pain radiating down from their back, lower back, down to the lower extremities. And that would be known as peripheral neuropathy and or radiculopathy. Number 3 on the secondary, side effects of medications taking for service-connected conditions. So let's just say you're service-connected for PTSD and you're taking some type of medication and it's causing you to have migraines. You can claim migraines secondary to the medication for the service-connected PTSD. A lot of veterans don't know about this. Even when I rated, I did not see this a lot, but I did see it a few times. So again, I'm giving you something that you can take and use if you fall in this particular category. And the last one, hypertension secondary to diabetes. And that is what we raters call common complication. Because if you look at the diabetes DBQ, there are about, I want to say 3 or 4, maybe 5 conditions that are common complications of diabetes. And you can find those on the diabetes DBQ, and hypertension is one of them. Moving right along. Number 4, sleep apnea. A lot of veterans are going to the VA Medical Center, VHA, and getting a diagnosis of sleep apnea. And then they're going on the VBA side and filing a claim. And guess what? They're getting denied because it has no relation to service. Now, in number 5, I did list sleep apnea secondary to mental conditions. But what I want to point out with that, if you're able to get service connected for sleep apnea and you have a CPAP machine, that percentage will be 50%. That's the highest that you can get, okay? So it's one of those high value claims, if you will. Moving right along. Number 3, migraines. Again, the highest evaluation for migraines is 50%, like sleep apnea. But a lot of veterans can't get to that 50% because they do not know the criteria. Some verbiage that you want to learn. Very completely prostrating, severe economic inadaptability. Those words are in the 30 and 50% criteria. If you go to the VA's M201 manual reference, they'll give you definitions for those particular verbiage that they use in the 30 and 50% criteria. Now, when you get to that C&P exam, if you feel you meet the 50% criteria for migraines, now you know how to reasonably articulate your symptomology to get that 50%. Also, migraines could fall under secondary as well, because I've seen veterans claim migraines secondary to tinnitus. Moving right along. Number 2, joint conditions. And what I mean by joints, I'm talking about bilateral ankles, bilateral knees, bilateral hips, back, neck, bilateral shoulders, bilateral elbows, and bilateral wrists. If you were treated in service for any of these conditions, you definitely want to claim them. The shoulders, if you have pain, it's 20%. If you have pain in any other conditions and you get service connected, it's 10% unless you meet the next higher percentage based off of range of motion. Now, if you have been out of service less than a year and you don't have any joints documented in service, you can still claim those joints that I stated earlier at under 38 CFR 3.309 subpart A, 1 year presumptive, if you feel you have arthritis in those joints. Once you're outside that 1 year window, you can never go back and claim it. Also, I've seen veterans claim joints and get service connected if they were awarded the parachute badge. So if you jumped out of planes, part of 82nd Airborne, special ops, anything like that, you probably didn't document those ankle sprains, those back sprains or knee sprains or whatever. You can claim those joints due to being awarded the parachute badge, but you have to be able to reasonably articulate to that C&P examiner, hey, I was in 82nd Airborne for 10 to 15 years. I'm a master parachuter. I had over 100 jumps or whatever. And then you have to explain rate of descent, the weight of the equipment, the impact of you hitting the ground, things of that nature. And then that doctor has to provide a medical opinion. Now, number 1, mental conditions. And reason why this is number 1, because you can have a single diagnosis and get service connected for a mental condition and it be at 100%. So for all mental conditions, you can get service connected at 0, 30, 50, 70, and 100%. So when you're claiming PTSD, how are you claiming it? What's the stressor? If you're claiming it due to military sexual trauma, what is the marker if you didn't report it, okay? But keep in mind, if you're claiming a mental condition, go to the VA's rating schedule and look at the different percentages. If you feel you meet the 50, 70, understand what that is. So looking back at all 5, these are things that I used to see that would get veterans to 100% the fastest. Also, if let's just take, for example, PTSD. You served in Afghanistan or Iraq, Saudi, Southwest Asia, something like that. 70%. Oh, you have a parachuter badge. And you say, okay, I'm going to claim lumbar strain. You get 40%. Oh, I'm going to claim sciatic nerve secondary to that lumbar strain, and they give you 10%. You go ahead and you said, all right, well, I feel I should have some other stuff. Sleep apnea, secondary to your mental condition, and you get 50%. Okay? So you could see how these start to add up. And once they start to add up, you get to that 50%. Now, I'm not saying to go out and just, I'm going for 100%. If you feel you deserve 100% due to the injuries you sustained while serving our country, that is totally up to you. If you feel you feel you should be 60%, 70, 80, or whatever the percent is, it's up to you to go after that percentage. I'm only providing the conditions that I used to see that would get veterans to 100% when I rated for the VA. So with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.